So Tom, I was going to ask you. You're on Patreon.
I am indeed, yes.
I'm on Patreon too.
You are.
You know how Patreon are always telling us to talk about Patreon on social.
They are.
Um,
This is true.
should we talk about Patreon on social then?
We should probably do what we're told. Yeah.
Tell me a little bit about your Patreon and what you do for that.
So, assuming that maybe some people know what Patreon is, but other people don't, it's
Course.
basically you can basically sign up to your favorite artists at different tiers of monthly subscription, and it can be anything from $1 a month through to, well, whatever anyone wants to set it at. I don't know if there's a top limit, but and in return you get access to kind of exclusive patron content.
Yeah.
And you said it. You said what you love about this is it's a very old idea brought into like a modern setting, where instead of having one or two very well paying patrons, we have lots and lots of people maybe supporting us in whatever way they can afford, which is such a cool idea. And my Patreon is predominantly geared towards like teaching on the whole. It's it's teaching based, although I'm pretty keen, and I'm pushing this more and more on just creating like a fun interactive online community, which is also I feel something that's important to me. So I'm pushing that element of it more, but predominantly it is like, for example, I've got the $10 tier, and at $10 there's every month to 6 weeks I release a big kind of hour-and-a-half tutorial on a certain aspect of painting. And then at the lower tiers you get quick tips. So I do little 10-15 minute quick tips videos at the lower tiers. And then some of the really low tiers are just like yourself. You can just, it's all, I think of it almost like a tip jar. If you're in what we're doing, then, you know, chuck us a little tip. Or if you like the YouTube videos we're doing, but you're not particularly keen on going any deeper with the teaching, you can still kind of support us, which is really lovely. And that's where I'm at about it. And I've just started a new tier. As of with the whole COVID-19 thing, I've just started a new tier, which I've called the Staying at Home tier. And there's a private Facebook group, and I do live streams and all sorts of stuff, like a painting challenge every week, and people can show their work and ask for critique. So there's a slightly more personal element to it. So so
and that's a closed group, isn't it? So it's nice.
Exactly.
It kind of ties into that community aspect of it.
Exactly.
Like everyone knows each other, which is nice as well for people perhaps who are maybe a little bit shyer about their art, which is very common.
Absolutely,
They're not showing it to the world. They're just showing it to a lot of like-minded people that support the same artist.
Exactly. And that's really cool. And I think the community element of it has become something that I think is a really lovely thing. Like there's such an opportunity for a really deep connection with people through Patreon. You know, they're paying to be there, so it's a slightly different relationship than, say, someone that follows you on YouTube, which is equally valid, but it's just a very different relationship.
Definitely. And you're finding, because one of the things they say is don't promise too much, and don't change what you do too much, and don't give yourself too much extra work. So are you finding that it's obviously doing a little bit more extra work for it, but it's still manageable?
I made the mistake when I first started of promising far too much, and I was
I did that as well.
I was so over the top with what I was offering. It was ridiculous. I've reined it in massively to something that is more manageable. I really did go massively over the top with what I was promising.
I think that's probably everyone makes that same mistake.
Definitely. And I remember reading advice for when you start Patreon, don't offer too much. And I was like, whatever. I can do this, no problem. And I started up a podcast at the same time. So of course. It was total madness to do all of that at once. But I love it. I actually I have come to really enjoy making videos. I think it's a really fun and interesting way to share.
The editing process, I really do enjoy it.
There's a creativity
created out there. Hugely,
And I know your Patreon, you operate slightly differently, and this is the beauty of it. Is I was just advising someone earlier today, they were thinking about going onto Patreon, and the advice I gave them was do it in a way that suits you. Like you said, you don't want to make too much more work for yourself. You want to be authentic to
you want to be
you
you,
are as
don't
an
you?
artist. You want to be you and not create too much more work for yourself, basically.
Definitely.
And so how do you operate your Patreon page?
Well, I because I struggle with teaching. It's really not my forte. I was kind of it was a bit tricky knowing what I would offer people that's different. And it didn't have that element. So really, it's like a peek behind the curtains, I guess. And I put stuff up there that doesn't go on social media. And one of my patrons was asking for real-time drawing, which I'm perfectly happy to do. And if she is happy to sit and watch it and sort of maybe learn by herself, I'm very happy with that. So I do offer that. I've said I'm going to be putting up like at least an hour long session of just real-time drawing, but there's no chat over it. I'll just put a nice music chat and people can, for the absolute purists. We should say we've kind of entered into a kind of an unofficial patron partnership, the two of us.
Absolutely,
where we kind of share one of our own pieces of content with each other for our patrons. And I think the live drawing was what I'm offering you, and then you're giving me one tutorial, like a watercolor tutorial or something each month, just as a sort of added.
That as an idea.
I love collaboration generally. It's very nice for me, obviously, because then for my patrons there is an opportunity to learn something as well. And I think a lot of people don't use this medium. Like the medium you're working in is a lot more popular. Obviously, watercolor. Loads more people use watercolor. So actually, for me, it's really great because to be able to offer them a really awesome watercolor tutorial is lovely. And then they've got my real-time drawing as well. But really, my patron, the way I'm seeing it, there's that community aspect too that you talked about that I want to develop some more. I've got this idea to set up a grant scheme for young artists because I just remember being the beneficiary of a grant when I was younger, and it meant just the world. Firstly, a bit of money, great. Every young artist is happy with a bit of cash. But then, it's also that, coming back to what we said about artists being so insecure, just to sort of know that someone is valuing your work enough to pay you for it. So I've got this grant scheme that I'm developing at the moment, hopefully with the Shepherd Foundation, but it's kind of inspired in memory of this lovely lady who was probably the closest thing to like an old-fashioned patron for me, in that she really supported me in the early years, and not just me, lots of artists. That's the thing. She was so generous with her time and money. And I was just one of them. So I kind of wanted to set up these awards in her memory because she tragically passed away 3 years ago. So ever since then, I've been wanting to find a way to honor her because Ingrid Beasley is her name. And she just meant the world to me. So I'm kind of setting up the grant scheme in her name. And we're just kind of working out the fine details. But one of the unique aspects of it was that I'd like it to be funded by patrons ultimately. So if they're supporting me financially, then some of that money is going to go and funnel into this grant scheme that's going to help young artists. But also there's a fourth tier to it, is also going to be supporting conservation work of the David Shepherd Foundation and the projects that they support. Because people often forget, it's like there's the charity, there's the people that work really hard behind it, and all that needs funding too. So there'll be an element of unrestricted funding for them as well. But early stages of developing it, but that's kind of what my page will be about ultimately.
And that's awesome. It's nice that it's hitting a few different things, because I know you're obviously anyone knows that you're big into the conservation element, but I know it's something we spoke about in the podcast. It's like, that's all very well, but what can we actually really do about it? And that's what you're kind of implementing here, which is such a cool kind of angle on the whole Patreon thing. I think it's it's really exciting. It's
no different.
It's cool. Definitely.
The reason I brought it up is because I never talk about it. And this is another thing. Artists asking for money, really bad at it.
Like, absolutely.
It's just so bad at it.
It makes us cringe, doesn't it?
Like, it makes us cringe, yeah.
I hate it.
Oh.
And it's so funny being, you know, like a working artist. I'm sure you can relate to this. There's like, you know, you might not think it when you look at my Patreon page, because I am relentlessly plugging myself and my business, basically. That is not my natural go-to.
Oh, I totally get that. Yes.
Like I would not, if it was up to me, I wouldn't be doing any of this stuff. I would love the networking side, but the other stuff of asking for money or constantly promoting myself could take a hike tomorrow, and that would be fine.
Totally. It's the bit I would drop as well. I hate doing it.
Yeah.
Any sort of promo, Ugh. Ideally, it would be something that you outsource, you know, wouldn't it? But we don't have that luxury. Most artists don't. They do everything.
Not yet, no.
Not yet. Not yet.
Maybe one day.
But if we build the Patreon following, you know, then that sort of opens up opportunities. So all the more reason. So it has been around for quite a while, and it had been recommended to me by a couple of people. And it sounded amazing. I didn't know how hard it would be to actually get patrons. That's but that's kind of it's tough. Yeah, and I understand that as well, because people have endless bills, don't they? Like, you know, it's just another subscription.
You know, I totally understand it. And it is not easy. And I remember someone telling me it is not easy to get patrons when I first started out. I was like, oh, I've got a pretty big mailing list. Maybe if X% of that joined up, that could work pretty well. But it's not that easy.
Yes, X is a very small number, isn't it? It's
it is
minuscule.
It makes it all the more special when people do choose to support you.
It really is. It's we talked about it before, the gift of time. You know, it just takes for the artist. It just relieves some pressure, because financial anxiety is a big thing for me anyway.
Definitely, and it's a big. It can be a big destroyer of creativity, which is at the root of the whole of our business. So if that's out the window because of the pressures of it, you know, you're pretty stuffed in many ways. People do excellently with Patreon. The possibilities are huge, but the effort is big. Like I've just started this new watercolor bird series in an attempt to kind of access a different maybe a different type of person that I've not accessed before. So I'm pushing the YouTube thing a little bit more in the hope that I might pick up some more patrons in that way. So you kind of have to be
it's a good idea.
Hustling a little bit, to coin a phrase I don't hugely like, but
even YouTube is quite hard to sort of get your videos getting views, isn't it?
It's massively hard.
There's so much competition
there is.
out there.
It's a saturated market, to give it that sort of spin, isn't it?
It really
but
is.
You've got, I think the ultimate thing is, like, it's easy to overthink this stuff, and you and we've spoken about this before, but the thing that makes you stand out is you and your artwork. And if you're being authentic about what you do and why you do it, then that is your I'm throwing all sorts of business lingo in here. That is your USP or whatever it is.
Your USP.
It is.
Well, authenticity is like the holy grail. That's what everyone wants, isn't it? You know, authenticity.
It is,
and really, it should be the easiest thing, right? To be yourself, but it's really not.
No, it's not.